Hello and a very good evening. A very warm welcome to our final and last session of Summer Pathshala, as we very fondly call it. And today, you all know you are in the game lab, so a very warm welcome, and let's play some games around. I understand that most of you would want to know about the assignments, so we will be talking about the assignments too. But first of all, I have to say thank you to you. So, thank you all for such tremendous response. Love the way you have spent time in making those assignments, and it's absolutely amazing to see your effort that has gone into it. We will be reverting back to you on each of those assignments. I know those are the questions riding on your mind, but today we are here to talk about the game lab. And I'm going to start with this session now, and we will keep talking about various things as we go. I know you can see my screen. If you can see the screen, please give me a thumbs up there. All right. So, very warm welcome to Game Lab. We are going to gamify the lessons today and become a champion in gamifying the lessons. So, when your children come back, you're all equipped with Skype sessions, with presentations on Sway, with Office Mix, and so much more today. Games, something I think that would be the favorite one if as far as children are concerned. So, yes, we are making you all set and all ready. Post the summer vacations, you would be good to go. Today, the presenters will be me. You know me by now, I guess, very well. I am Meenakshi Oberoi, MI Fellow and a Master Trainer, and the Founding Director of Pedagogics. Today with me is Pooja Sachdeva, who's an expert, who's MI expert, and works at Pathways World School. She's going to introduce herself, and all I'm going to say is all thank you to you, Pooja. You have taken this time to be with us, to share your knowledge about Kodu with us. We've always brought you experts, and here we are with another expert. But before we go into that, Pooja, would you please like to say a hello to everyone, please?
Hello everyone, this is Pooja here.
Pooja, your voice is echoing. I think there are two speakers on around you. If you could turn one off so that we can start the conversation, and you could just introduce yourself.
Hello everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, Meenakshi, I can share my screen from here and then can go forward.
I think I'll need about a bit slide or two, and then I'll hand it over to you, Pooja. All right?
Sure.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Like I said, I know you all have been very anxious about the assignments. For those who have missed the recordings, you know the recordings are available on Yammer, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever you want to fetch. So the data is available. Those of you who are still looking for where to put the post on, where to post your assignments, where to post the links to your assignments, please post them on Yammer or on the email over here that's provided to you. And I think we're going to type it in the chat window too so that it's available to you. Though I must say that I have received assignments from many of you, yet there are many others for whom I await. And today we are also going to talk about the final project. There is going to be a final project as we go along. After having talked about games and gamification, I'm going to take you through the project. What is your project going to be and how you're going to submit that. So again, thank you for those who have already submitted, and for those who haven't, the window is still open. Could you please submit them? Talking about GameLab, I think a lot of hype about gamification has been growing over the past few years, and a lot of interest on how to use gamification in education has been seen. Therefore, it is very important for us to right now talk about it, because with Microsoft offering you so many platforms to gamify your classrooms, it is absolutely imperative for us to use it, absolutely imperative for us to bring to you, because these kind of approaches, the educational approach is to motivate the students to learn by using game design elements in learning environment. How to fully appreciate and how to fully engage in this environment is going to be our focus and goal today, and I hope you are able to take some take back, if not all. I do not want you to get overwhelmed by the feeling that, I'm not, I know I've heard people say, I'm not very good at gamifications, games and me are just not me. So yeah, we were also at that stage at some point in time, but once you take that off your mind and you start taking that positive approach towards this type of learning, let me tell you, it is very interesting. Me also being a non-gaming teacher, having said that, I would correct myself by saying, no, I've actually brought in games all the time in my classrooms. Or try and peek into your own classrooms. Haven't you used games in your classroom? These are uh, by gamification, we are only thing that we are doing is that it is a sequential technology of games and game-based approaches that have led to a very engaging way of learning, and this process is basically being adopted the world over. So it is a very time-tested approach, and therefore we are we are actually going to talk about it today and help you see what the benefits of gamification are. Here are some of the benefits of gamification and e-learning for you. And basically, if you look at it, it's definitely a better learning experience. And what it does is that the learner experiences fun during the game. So fun is one element I think that every teacher looks forward to having in her own classroom. So definitely this is a to-go for you. Instant feedback is something that, each time a student hears it from you, it's like, she keeps telling me something or the other. Really, that's what with our own children it is too. But if there is a feedback that keeps coming from the game, from the third teacher, I would call it, then then definitely it's another way of looking at that feedback. Maybe that is being taken up in a way we might not be able to convey. Better learning environment, definitely. Gamification is basically e-providing. It is a very effective and informed learning environment, and it helps learning practice real life situations and challenges in a safe environment. And the child is making his or her own attempts. They have their own levels and they have their own next levels to reach. And the challenges are there, the hindrances are there. So they are doing, I think, practicing all 21st century skills without really us being pushing those into them. Prompting behavioral challenge is what I've just talked about. That's the point system that helps you keep going. I think that's true for us also. How about the points that you have just gained at on the education.microsoft.com? Have you gone back to check how many or what are the kind of points that we have actually been given? That is actually motivating. That is actually a to-go factor to say that, how do I go to my next level? So it actually suggests you to next levels. So, and this can be applied in most learning needs. So, this kind of learning is one of the most accepted way of learning by most of the students. So why not gamify it? And of course, impact on bottom line, on accounts of all these aspects that touch and impact learning, higher recall, retention, catalyzing,
Minakshi,
behavioral
can you hear me?
changes.
People cannot see the slides, Minakshi.
Okay, they can't? All right, just a minute.
Yeah, people cannot see the slides, so just, yeah, please.
Sure, one second. Can you see it now? Jyoti, could you please let me know if you can see it now?
I cannot see, even I cannot see anything at the moment. And people also can't see.
Is it taking time loading or something? Because to me it says I'm presenting.
I can't see anything, and the rest also people can't. No loading, nothing.
Okay, one second.
So maybe we need to.
Can you now?
No.
Okay, one second. It says it's connecting.
All right.
Yeah, now it says you can see it.
Yeah, now it's now it's loading. Now at least we can see something is coming up.
Okay, I'll give it a pause and I'll wait.
Yeah.
But I think basically you've all heard me talk about the benefits of gamification. This slide that I was just presenting basically gives you those pointers of what these impacts can be. So, a very quick, brief one for you to view it.
Yeah,
Uh,
can see now.
all right, awesome. So basically, we are looking at the benefits, and I've spoken about them, and I'm sure you've heard them. So I'm just going to wrap this up by saying that I'll give you about a few seconds to take a look at this slide and read these so that we can move on after this. Okay, so basically, gamification has tremendous potential in the education space. How we can use it to deliver truly meaningful experience to students, that's what we're going to look at today. Game players regularly exhibit persistence, risk taking, attention to detail, and problem solving. All behaviors that ideally would be regularly demonstrated in school. So, if we can provide them a platform where they can actually uh, practice these skills, take them into their daily lives, and then learn something, then why not? Thus, the gamification of learning is an educational approach to motivate students to learn by using video game design and game elements in learning environment. The goal is to maximize the enjoyment and engagement through capturing the interest of learners and inspiring them to continue learning. And I hope, having said that and made this clear, I'm going to request Pooja to start discussing about what's game-based learning, and what is gamification. She's basically going to help you play around with games. Pooja, are you there?
Yeah. Just give me a second to upload it.
Sure.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. If you can hear me clearly, please give a thumbs up. I will be just presenting you today, as people say, play is our brain's favorite way of learning. Yes, so we will be just learning today what actually is difference between gamification and game-based learning. Though people get confused about these three terms, so I'll just make them a little clear. When you say a game is an activity in which participants, which are your students or the adults, actually take part for enjoyment, learning, and competition. But the difference is that it may or may not have rules or objectives. Meenakshi, should I show my screen?
I think you have the control to the screen, so you can move the slides if you want.
Okay, okay.
Pooja, I'll change the slide for you.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I was saying games are just for fun, and they may not or may have defined rules and objectives with them. Whereas when we say gamification, it is an environment where idea of game elements are there, but it is a non-game situation. For example, like your education.microsoft.com, we all go there If our motive is just only to learn and do the courses, it's different. But when we complete a certain course, we get a badge, we get points, we earn those points. And we are always in a competition with, in a healthy competition with each other. So that's the environment of gamification. Gamification has just taken over each and every environment right now at this particular moment, and people are bringing it into education too. Even in the customer care, or even if you go for a market and buy a product, when you get an extra product or benefits or Sodexo cards with it, so in corporate world, education world, anywhere, those are the elements of gamification. A simple example in a class is when you are giving points to a child called appreciation mark or the star marks. Those are known as gamification. Whereas game-based learning and gamification are a little different from each other, where game-based learning has a defined learning objective. Behind making that game, you have your own objective which is there, and then you proceed further to make students learn something from them. Okay, so winning and losing is a part of a simple game, but losing may or may not be possible, because the point is to motivate people to take some action in game-based learning. Whereas when you talk about gamification, losing may or may not be again possible, because you people have to take some action to do something further. So as you clearly see here and have got the certain ideas, various LMS systems can be attached with gamification. Game-based learning, you have different kinds of apps, like for Apple you have Swift, for Microsoft you have Kodu, you have Minecraft coming up very recently, whereas in games you have stories and scenes as a part of the game which you can create. Basically, this is the diagram to show what is the difference between gamification and game-based learning, which are two major terms. Adding game-inspired elements to your choice is just gamification. Applying game mechanics to a non-game environment and to encourage behavior in people is gamification. Typically incorporates badges, awards, and achievements, as I said, are the part of gamification. Experience points may be used as substitute to give them something in return. So that is your gamification. Adding game-inspired elements to your course is gamification. But game-based learning is little different, because you have a certain learning outcome which you are waiting for your children to achieve. So when children play these games, they achieve something from the game, and that's your objective which you have kept in mind by creating the games. Now people say, why to play games? So a study which was conducted recently in US, people have come across that the average game player is 35-year-old, and 74% of people, of K8 teachers, are using digital games in the classroom to promote gamification and game-based learning. 56% of parents say video games positively have affected their children. Do you think that has been the reason? Not only boys, even girls have started playing games. What is behind the games? What is the learning behind the games is a big question. So let's see what is the learning behind the games. When we say it's only taken me 3 days, 2 more, and I'll almost be there to present it. When you see a child saying this line, it means the child is learning how to be patient. You just have to understand the rules, and then if you stick to it, you will be making it to the target. That's the respect which you are learning. If you build one side, I will build the other, and we will meet at the gates and do those together. That means the child is learning how to work in a team. I have not yet worked out right way to do this, but I have another idea. Child is learning how to solve the problems. I think they were made from wood and stone, so I used oak and cobblestone. So child is learning about decision making. I hate to be stuck there. They must be scared. Child is learning about empathy here. I realized it, what's symmetrical, so I added 2 or more columns on the left. A child is making self-assessment of his own. I failed better this time. Can I try again, sir? So he or she is learning about resilience. Now today I'll be talking about Kodu. Kodu is one of the application primarily which has aimed at kids, helping them rapidly develop games on a 3D environment. When you are working on this, You are not working on a 2D environment, you are working on a 3D based environment. It is a Microsoft Fuse Lab product which can be used with any Windows based operating system, which is Vista, XP 7, Windows 8 or Windows 10. It provides creative environment for designing and building and then playing your own games which you have created. It helps kids to simultaneously explore the world of coding, because first becoming a producer of the game, not only the consumer. It has a user-friendly environment based on event-driven language programming. So I'll just teach you what is event-driven programming language. It can be used with either keyboard, mouse control, or it can be also used for Xbox control. It has a productive environment used to create small editable games and definite learning outcomes. It can be integrated in various subject areas. But why one should learn Kodu? Just to imagine, create, share, and for your passion. A game is a possible solving activity, problem-solving activity approached with a playful attitude. So when you are learning programming with it, you are actually exploring behind the scenes. Like when you see a game, what has the consumer done so that the producer is liking that particular game? Demonstrating defined learning outcome through creation of a game. Help in revising the concept taught in various learning areas and various subjects. It also improves your critical thinking, problem-solving thinking, collaboration, cooperation, which are all your 21st century skills, and inspire confidence in user to become good at programming skills and learn Kodu. So when we have to download the Kodu, you all have to go to this particular link. Once you click on this link, I'll show you what will happen. You will be taken to this page, and here it will be shown Kodu GameLab. When you click on download button, there are two setups which are installed. One is Kodu setup.exe and second is Kodu setup.msi. You just need to check in Kodu setup.exe and click next. You can either save the file or run just directly from it. If you save it, you can just to a mix which I have already recorded, and all the steps of the installing Kodu has been recorded by me in this mix. This mix you can watch because I'll be giving you the link of this in the assignment booklet as ma'am said, and then further later on we can see how to install the Kodu. Once the Kodu is installed, this is the first screen which you all will be able to see. This screen shows resume world if you were playing the game before, so you can continue with that game. New world where you can create or design your own environment. Load world, that means if you have already previously created somebody's game you want to play, or you have created and saved it before and you want to play that game, you can click on this link and play the games. Later on, if you want to see various options, help, or you want to quit Kodu, you can when you click on load the world, you will be taken to the world which is here, where lot many games are already kept. You just need to select any one game which you want to load, and that game will be loaded on your screen. If you want to design your own game, you need to click on new world. Once you click on new world, this is the place where it will take you, and you will have certain small objects lying here, which I'll be explaining you one by one. These objects to help with the help of mouse so that you can move the and see all the angles of your own world.
Pooja, can I please
Object
interrupt?
tool, where you, yeah ma'am.
Pooja,
Yes, ma'am.
go a little slower because the slides for people is taking time to upload. So go a little slow so that they understand what you're saying. Okay, go a little slow. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. The camera Here, if you can see again, as I told you, you can move the screen with the help of a mouse. Then you have object tool. Object tool helps you to add and edit various characters and objects which you want to bring on your screen. You can change the placement of the object, you can change the settings like size, you can change the, you can program those characters you want, and I'll be showing you on a live example how to do all those things. Path tool, it helps you with the object to move the object in a desired path as you have designed it on the Kodu. So it will follow designed. It's helpful in designing racing games. Like when you are making a game of maze or a racing game, then it is very helpful for you people. Ground brush tool, which adds, paint or delete the ground. That means if you want to increase the size of the world which has been shown to you in the green area, or you want to change the texture of it, like suppose you want a water kind of area or a gray area, not the cemented area. So you can use this tool, ground brush tool, to bring all those different kinds of textures, or add or paint or delete the ground which you already have with you. Up and down tool, which is the next tool. You can pull the ground up and down using this down. Up and down means that you will get a 3D view of your own world which you are creating. It also helps you in creating different kinds of hilly areas, valleys if you want to create on your world. Flattening tool. This tool helps you to make ground smooth. That means if you have already made a hill or a valley and you want that the level should go a little down of it, then you can click on flattening tool and it will flatten the ground as you wish. The roughening tool, if the terrain which you have made or the world which I am saying you have made, if you want the terrain to be a little hilly or spiky, then you can use the roughening tool to make them so. Water tool, it helps you add or remove or change the texture of water to your world or to your terrain. That means you can searching about them or seeing which kind of animals are there, playing in an environment which is under sea. So those kind of games can be created using the water tool. Delete tool is an option which helps you to clear the objects which you do not require. If you want to change any setting of the world, maybe a weather, maybe the camera position or the size of the Kodu or any other object, then you use change world setting, which is the last option in the menu which is shown. Now, when we are creating a game or exploring Kodu further, we need to just think about the three steps which we have to go through. Either we can use the game which has been created by someone and just load that game and play that game. And if we want to make any changes in that game, we can just go to the object and program the object as per our needs. But if you want to start from the scratch, you need to click on Create button. Step 2 is writing the code. Code is writing the programming. Yes, you do not need to have a base of programming with you because it's very easy. It's a visual based environment which is provided to you through which you will be able to code. Last and end you have to do by saving and sharing your game in the community, which is your last step, through which you can actually share it with your students, the link, or you can tell them to explore and they can play the game which you have created. These are the options, menu options which I just explained to you. So you have home menu to go to the starting position. For playing a game, you just need to click on play game. Moving the camera to just move the camera along. Object tool to bring on the objects. Path tool to design the path. And rest, erase tool, world setting tool, water tool to design your whole environment of the world. Now comes the coding part. So when you click on the object which is selected by you on your own world, you will be taken to right click it and click on program. So as you click program button, you will be taken to this kind of window where all the visual environments will be shown to you. So programming works in a manner where it's an event driven based programming. So what happens is, like, suppose somebody is clicking a doorbell. So when you hear a doorbell, you do something. So on any given environment, when any particular thing is happening there, even any event is occurring there, you are taking an action. So it's an event and action generated programming language. So whenever an event is happening, an action is generated. Your phone is ringing, then you are picking up the phone and answering the call. Your doorbell is ringing and you are going and opening the door. So in the same manner, the programming runs here in the Kodu. You will see a lot of objects which you can install on your world, which are like these, which are shown here. So you have apples, you have heart, you have castle, you have Kodu, you have blimp, you have balloons, trees, all those turtles, sharks, stars, ball, so many objects which are provided to you, and your thinking will be a limit. So coins, clouds, it's all up to you how you want to design your games using these all objects. You have physical sensors there which will actually use to sense those kind of things, like a doorbell is ringing. So you need somebody to hear that, somebody to see that, somebody to go and just bump to it. So now, like, suppose you press L key on your keyboard. So then L will be written on your screen. So same way the sensors help you to see and judge what is the action which will require. So actions are also many which are given here, like for scoring, for moving, for eating, coloring, starting, damaging. So all those are the different actions, or the actions can be like you're winning, shooting, saying something. So all those actions will be taken on further. So event and then action. So let's start developing the game. First, I'll be playing a game which is already created by my student. Now this is a game, if you all can see, it's created by my students. You went here, turn, and you see what is the answer, 150 or 1500, and you start shooting. And all these of the games are written in the game which is in the starting. So now you can see it's not shooting. So turn a little. And you earn 10 points for it. Move around and go to another question. And think about the answer. And turn and start shooting with the A again. If the answer is wrong, you will lose the points, and if the answer is correct, you will be gaining the points. So as you can see, I can change the camera settings here. So this is how a game is created by them. and there is some shooter who is sitting at the end who is just throwing these bumps with you. Now I'll just see if I get bumped into this, my game will be over. So I need to save myself from these bombs and then answer all the questions. Once I answer all the questions, then I will be taken further to. Now if you see here, if I want to edit this particular game, I need to go to object and find my object and see here what has to be done. So this is how coding will be taking over. Now I'll show you how to exit this game. I'm discarding it and making it a new game. Now when you make a new game, you will be shown a new terrain here.
Hi Pooja, people can't hear you.
They can't hear me. I was not saying something. Actually, the screen went off. So
All
just
right.
give me a second.
All right, no problem. Let me
I
just
think
share
now
my
it's visible.
experience. It's still taking time. Okay, it's loading up now.
Okay. Till then you can. Yeah.
So actually, what excites me most about when I first saw Kodu was a realization that it's not provided a fun play environment for children, but it has some engaging and exciting way to teach our young children how to create these softwares. And so easily, these students were able to create. That gives you a pleasure and gives you a level of achievement and takes you onto a next level to say that I could do something and I could create a game and I could code. In fact, I was just talking in my own group that I have an 8-year-old right now in my house who's so excited about coding that she's started creating games and she's creating various elements. She's adding new elements to it each day. So if an 8-year-old can do it, definitely it's something that can be looked into, and that must be an approach which is good enough for even a young child to start learning. Basically they don't need our help in that. They just I think if you give the game in their hands, they're going to be much better than us at that. What do you say, Pooja?
True, very true. I have also learned gaming from my children only.
Yeah, because see, it provides an environment in which older children, younger children,
So
even grown-ups
this is how
can
you-
enjoy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So this is how you can increase the ground. Now once my ground has been increased, I need a object here. So I'll go to object, I'll click on the ground and will bring any object, say apple. More apples. Click here on the object, click on the ground, that is your world, bring more apples. You can place these apples wherever you want, and you can bring lot many apples and other objects. Suppose now I want a tree, a small tree. Oh, it's so big, so I'll just change the size and reduce the size to small. To change the size, you just need to right click on the object and click on change So I'll click here and my main character you can do that. If you want a bigger one, you can choose that. So this is how you can bring lot many objects on the ground. If you want to duplicate or bring more trees, again you need to click on object and bring different things or different kind of objects from here. Say a coin. So next I'll need more coins here. So I'll bring a rock. So tree is here, I'm placing. Okay, rock is here somewhere. And my Kodu is here. Now, click on it, click on program. Once I click program, as I told you, it is an event-based programming language. So it says what and do. So what, when and do. When means what kind of action you want. Do means what kind of action you want them to do. And when is what kind of event will occur that will actually promote your action. So click on when and say keyboard. So what kind of keys you want to move on keyboard? It can be WASD keys or it can be arrow keys. So just think of the keys and write that. Now see, when keyboard arrow keys are pressed, do what? If it is a game which you are making for a small little child, you will say move slowly. If you are making it for the higher kids, you can make it move forward, move fast, or if you are designing a path, then you can select the path. Now once you have done this, you can escape and you can just move on to play button to play the game. So when you move with your arrow keys, you will see that the arrow is just moving and taking it there. But we have never said what has to be done by this Kodu. Whether he has to eat all the apples, whether he has to say something, whether apples will say something, nothing. So what we'll do is we'll click escape, we'll go to our Kodu and we'll program further. So Kodu object, click on Kodu, click on program. So if you want to say when bumped, okay. Now we have tree here. So when bumped in options, different objects, more objects, tree. Do what? Do what? What kind of action you want to do it? Shoot? You want the game to be lost? So you go here. If you want to take some action, you can go here and press. Or it can be like create something. Okay, let's say express. What do you want him to express? Sad, crazy, angry or hearts? Maybe crazy. Then suppose you want when bumped into apples. So bumped into objects called apple. Do what at that time? So I want eat it. So he will eat it. Okay. So when pumped plus object which is your apple, do plus which is scored by in which color? Blue, and maybe a child is earning 10 points at that time. So if you understand this coding, it is very easy. When a Kodu is bumping into the apple, you want to eat that apple. Or when it is also bumping side by side simultaneously, the score in blue color should appear, and every time he is eating one apple, 10 points are gained. So let's see whether it will happen or not. Let's go and play the game. moving slowly because I have programmed it for slow movement. If you want to move and say you bumped into a tree further. So here he expressed and you ate the second apple. So you're earning points here. If you want to lose the points on anything, maybe if he's clicking with tree or bagging into a tree or getting a coin instead of apples, then you have to again program it so that it can lose the marks further. So if I eat this, again I am earning the points. If I'm bumping into rock, nothing would happen because I haven't programmed it such. So if you program it, then it will automatically work in a same manner. Now there are two more things which I will just say, that suppose if you want, if you have seen that game which I showed of my child, here again in that game, what was happening was that the objects were showing certain text. That will only come up when you click on say. So there's an option called say. So when you click on say, it will give you a window to write any question. You write any question, you write anything, and you will be able to program it further. That's it. That's for Kodu.
All right. So basically,
these are the various resources.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pooja. Basically, I think the scope of the game is as wide as that you want to be. I think you as teachers your brains would be running full time thinking about what is it that I can use it in my class. But Kodu to draw blood vessels, the terrain and the environment, drop in some characters that represent the white blood cells and maybe a flu bug, and use a software to control their movements and use colorful animation to show how white blood cells react. Even better, isn't it? Turn it into a game where one player controls the flu bug and the other controls the white blood cell. But the flu bug player must run away and the white blood cell player must try and catch the fly bug. How's that for a game? That's something I could come up with. I'm sure you all are also going to come up with your own versions. So yeah, true Intuit game, basically you could punch in so much. Kodu will also teach you some real life skills that help you throughout your education and even into your future career. You see, actually the ability to create a game requires some logical and critical thinking skills, of what I can see, apart from cognitive and hand control, and there are so many things that work here, that play here. So though it might not sound important to you now, but you or to your parents or other stakeholders, but it's a big deal. Even if you don't want to do when you grow up is coding, like trust me, some of the skills that you learn as developer, your own games will never leave you and will benefit you no matter what career you choose in later in life. So you should never stop learning. Instead, always be on the lookout for new things to try out in your games. Think of Kodu as a toolbox. I would want to try it out, each and every tool inside it. You'll want to find your favorites. You will discover some tools that you might never use. But by learning them all, you'll have the maximum number of skills and features available to make your games the best they can be. And I completely understand that even one presentation like this cannot really make you a master at these games. And what you need is constant reminders, constant look backs. Definitely this recording is coming to you, but there are other educators, other experts also who have created immense material on this. I would request Shelly to share the link to her video in a mix, and Pooja, you too, if you could, share your link to your mix over here, so that it's very handy for teachers to right now just take away after this presentation and start using. Yeah, thank you, Shelly, for sharing that. And it's absolutely awesome because when a teacher explains it to you, it's like a colleague telling you, you know what, do this and do that, and after this you do that. So that's actually breaking it down into steps and bringing it closer to you. So it's basically one chapter at a time. I would not recommend you jumping. And we are almost towards the end of this session. But as promised, I'm now going to show you and talk to you about the project. But before that, Any other thing if you want to ask about Kodu, our eyes on the screen, any questions about gamification, about Kodu, anything that you want to ask. Jyoti, have you caught any question in the window?
Just a second. There was one question Pooja was presenting,
Mm-hmm.
and someone was asking that what grade Pooja was showing some games. So they were asking what grade the kids are in who have created this game.
Right. So basically, if you talk about age group, I'm going to tell you that this can start right, I think, in kindergarten, because, like I said, this 8-year-old is working on it, and this can be used for helping children to learn numeracy, to recognize kinds of fruits and vegetables at that grade, to know the kinds of animals, to learn about painting. The methods can be used are have been documented, and there is enough material available on the net, and we are going to provide you. Pooja's already provided this website where you can find immense examples of how people have used it. You can find examples about just about any grade. Let's say from even if you started from kindergarten, child can take it up to, like I gave you an example of a blood vessel. I would say that those kind of circulatory systems children would only be doing in grade 7 or 8. So you can take it up to as wide and as far as you want. Any other questions that you would like to ask? How much time it'll
How
take?
much time it will take to program one
Jaspreet,
game?
I must say, time is, it really depends on me, because once you get exploring into these games, what happens is you want to explore every icon and every possibility possible, all the features. I would say, like, Pooja's explored only a few over here, and she's tried presenting it to you. Pooja, exactly how much time did you take making this game? Pooja, are you there? Okay, Pooja, if you could just type in the chat window, we would be happy. So basically, I don't think it's gonna take long. You could say anywhere between 30 minutes to 4 hours. This is a very, very vague timing is what I'm giving you. But yeah, 30 minutes and you're done, because as a teacher, we tend to get ambitious. I want to do it all. I want to make it pretty. I want to add more features. Then yes. Can we put conditions and loops in coding? The way Pooja has demonstrated, she has shown you many loops, and the loops can be multiple. Yes, you can. All right, great. So let's move on to our segment where I'm going to first talk about this. I really need to speak to you about the Microsoft Innovative Educator Experts. Those of you who are applying, the last day to apply is 15th of August, sorry, 15th of July, and please make sure that your applications reach in time. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go to the educator community, you're supposed to make a profile for yourself, and after that create a video on Office Mix or Sway basically to get your application going. Please encourage teachers from across your schools to join this program. Those who are in this program have already spoken to you about how beneficial this is. I think this is a must do for every educator. At least they should be on board for at least a year to see what this program entails. Even if you do not have time in your daily working, I would say this is a must go. So create and make that time. Please go to the Facebook page of the Pedagogics. On top, you will find pinned is a small video that I have prepared for you. You could use this link to view that video. That is self-explanatory. I've taken you through all the steps that you need to take to answer these questions that are written over here. I provided you some guidance over there. I've not given you answers definitely, but I have provided you many ways of what to say, how to present. So go view it and keep your applications ready, because the date is not too far off, and once the school opens, you and me know what our situations are. So do not forget, 15th July is the last date for applying. Coming to the Summer Pathshala project. Like I said in the beginning, you have been absolutely awesome by working on all the assignments that we have given you. Now is the time to take your assignments to the next level. The first level was keeping a Skype session in your OneNote notebook. So you made a lesson plan based on OneNote notebook and you took it to based on OneNote, you planned a Skype session. Now what we want you to do is we want you to create a project. Therefore, I'm going to take you to the OneNote notebook, which will come to you now. Sorry. Okay, so this is what your OneNote notebook looks like, and your project is that whatever OneNote lesson plan you have prepared, we would like you to take that to the next level. Your lesson plan must have certain things. We have provided you certain exemplars over here. We have given you guidelines. This I had shown you beforehand also. What I want to take your attention to is the details. With OneNote, you have to create one page where you have a lesson plan. Number 2, resources.
And actually, we can't see the OneNote notebook.
All right. Okay, let me again give it a try. Can you? Okay, 1 second, it's connecting. Yeah, I'm going to wait, don't worry.
Yeah, now it says loading.
Yeah. At my end, it says currently presenting, so you should be able to see. So your notebook must have 5 sections or 5 pages, the way you would want to arrange it. Your first page must have a lesson plan. So make, write, or type your lesson plan. On the page number 2, give us resources that you would be using during your lesson plan. That is, while you're running that lesson plan, what are the resources that you will require? Some PDF documents, some videos, some audio, some YouTube videos, whatever you want, put them in resources separately. Number 3, show us some student samples. I understand that you have not implemented this plan, so you might not have student samples. Therefore, either fetch some student samples which you have from the past years. Sorry, Jyoti.
Sorry?
Can I go ahead?
I said we still can't see your slide. It's just a plain black screen there. Now it just came, just now.
Okay, so can I go ahead?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So if you can hear me, that's also good enough, because what's written, I'm just picking up whatever is written here. This notebook, which anyway will come to you, and I will be requesting Pooja and Jyoti to please give a link to this notebook, provide it in the chat box. Of course, it will come to you through mail, through Yammers, through all those sources. It will come. In case it doesn't, you know where to write to, so just write to us and we'll send it to you. But let's understand the third page, because I understand many of you have had confusion over student samples. Like I said, student samples, first of all, are definitely optional, but they're always good to provide because they provide us a peek into what is the product going to look like. So look up your last year's plan or your old plans and give us a sample over there of what it might look like. Ideally, what we do is we create a worksheet, and as a student, I fill it up and I provide that as a student sample when I'm planning. Because again, you're planning and there are many other sections within your class. Let's say you're planning for grade 6. So grade 6 will have many sections. So the other teacher who is viewing it does not get a complete view till you actually share a sample. Therefore, it's absolutely encouraging I'll encourage you to share your sample, student sample. Assessment and rubric, of course. If you do not have the rubric, provide us a checklist or provide us a basis of how are you assessing and what are we assessing on, what is the main objective on your mind. And then, of course, the project reflection. In project reflection, you cannot fill it right now, and I completely understand. What I would say is you should and must reflect to say that these are the challenges that I can see from now itself that these might be a challenge. But I know how to iron them out, and this is how I'm going to iron them out. We have a very clearly defined evaluation criteria and rubric for this project, and this project is what will help you earn an award. So the top 3 projects or the 3 best projects as judged by the judges will be awarded suitably, in the sense that they will be awarded with a plaque, and you will all be earning badges, but those plaques will only be provided to the 3 top projects. So the 3 best projects. What are the evaluation criteria? Very, very strictly, they are focused towards the 21st century skills. If you know what the 21st century skills are, fabulous. If you don't know, there is a course on education.microsoft.com. Please go and complete that course there. Else, look at this evaluation criteria. The rubric defines every criteria in detail, giving you questions of what to ask and what to expect. While I'm sharing this, if you can see the screen, the evaluation criteria are structure of the project, wherein the question should on your mind should be like, what are the stated objectives and learning outcomes? Is the learning activity long term? Does it call on students to plan their work and assess that over time? Then the second is design of learning environment. Third is evidence of learning. Fourth, collaboration. Fifth, knowledge building and critical thinking. Sixth, use of ICT. Seventh, educator as innovator and change agent. And last but not the least is use of cutting edge technology. Very clearly for us this time, use of cutting edge technology would be usage of Sway, Skype in the classroom, Kodu, and OneNote. Office Mix is again optional. So use of cutting edge technology would be, you would be earning extra points if you include Office Mix or Kodu within your plans. So that's the whole project about. I hope I've explained it very, very carefully. It looks really vast, but let me tell you, it is just to take you on to the next level. It's just to take what you have already created to the next level. So what I'm trying to tell you is, don't feel overwhelmed. Don't feel that this is too much work. This is basically taking your plan to the next level, looking at the rubric. So what I would suggest is, if you've already created the OneNote notebook, please look at that notebook, look at the rubric, compare to see what's missing and add on to it. It's as simple as that. Am I clear? Is there any question on your mind which you would want to ask us about this very topic, the projects? I'm going to stop presenting now because I really want to focus on your questions. My eye is student sample. Like I just explained just now, it is you're going to look at the student samples from the past that you have already have in your kitty. If you don't have, as a teacher, create a sample as to what you expect the student to write or fill. What is your end product going to look like? I'm sure each teacher, while planning an activity, has an end product in mind. So keep that end product in mind and see what you're looking at. So that's a student sample for me. Please ask questions. I'm absolutely open to answering your questions. It's really important for us to have those questions now, because I know that we get lots of WhatsApps and we get lots of personal emails to answer these questions, and it's always not possible for us to get back. Kindly ask your questions now. What about reflections? Okay, just read. Reflection is basically post your plan. Once you've planned, you know that you're supposed to schedule a tour, you're supposed to bring in a guest speaker, you're supposed to see that these to run this project, these are the things, materials that I will need, but these are the challenges that I must face and might face, and these are the way in which I'm going to make accommodations. Let's say that let's say your guest speaker is not available at that time. So what's your plan B? And your reflection will also come in post, but we must make space right now, because when your other co-teacher, the teacher from other section, is reading your plan, I'm sure she'll have 1,000 questions on mind. Now she must report those questions in these reflections. So this is as you go. So right now you must write what your apprehensions are within this plan, what you can already see, what your insecurities can be, or how you're planning to take the plan B forward. So that's the strength of your project. Fabulous questions, I must say. And Babusha, can I please request you to listen to the recording to see what you've missed out on the student sample? Because I'm very conscious that I'm already 10 minutes over time, and I'm very happy and glad to see that nobody has moved and everybody's still sticking around to see what we are saying. So, yeah, that's very encouraging, I must say. So, any more questions that you have? Yeah, Champa, I'm so sorry. Please do view the recording. I'm sure that will give you an example. Anything else that you would like to ask? Yes, the submission of the project. I was just waiting. Yeah, I was just waiting for somebody to ask me what the last date is. Yes, that's the most important part. The last date for submission of the project is 22nd of June. 22nd of June, if you could type that in the chat box, please. 22nd of June is definitely the last date to submit your plan. It is absolutely imperative that your plan must reach us by 22nd of June midnight. Here's the project link for you. So please start viewing this link. You can begin working on it now, right after the call. And yes, 22nd is 22nd a Wednesday. Yes, it is definitely a Wednesday. Thank you, Babusha. So Wednesday, 22nd is the last date, midnight. Yes, midnight, India midnight, Champa. It is going to be 22nd. Also, what I would encourage is that if you have any questions, queries, or if you want to view all of these sessions in one go, what you have to do is you have to visit our blog. That's our blog. All the recordings, all the sessions will be available, all PowerPoints will be available on our blog. And of course, they're available in Yammer. So please, I know too short a time. It's always short, Shamna. Let me just put it like that. Till you actually don't have a short time, you don't complete your work. And I promise you, this is really not short. So please go ahead, explore, do send in your presentations in time. Till now, we have made many accommodations. We have been accepting all kinds of dates from you for submission because we do understand that these are vacations going on. And for some of you, I know, Sonia, your school has opened up. So I know your schools have opened up and you're very, very busy over there. But kindly respect this deadline because we are supposed to declare the results. The results, nobody's asked to get. Nobody wants to win. Jyoti, let you, me, and Pooja take away the prizes, isn't it? So yes, the prizes that they will be declared, the results will be declared on Yammer, and you will be informed by mail on 30th of June. So 30th of June is your date to watch out on Yammer, and 22nd June is the date for you to submit. So here we go. This is almost the end of this session. And thank you so very much. Special thanks goes out to Champa, who's been logging in from Sri Lanka every time, all the 4 sessions. Thank you with folded hands, Champa. And it's been a pleasure to have you all over here. It's absolute pleasure. Thank you. Thanks a ton. See you around. Keep in touch. You know how to get in touch with us. We exist as the Pedagogics. Please go out on all social media. Let's talk about it. Let's tell people what they have missed and what they have not. So let's just talk about it. Thank you.